you on. I swear, and then we're not even live yet. I didn't say that for anyone else to hear but you.
Okay.
So now we're live, and Facebook, I am so honored and touched to know Donna. Donna is a veteran of the military like me, and I met her through Manny Arias. And if you don't know who that is, he runs project9line.org, and he handles training veterans who are doing comedy, train them in their comedy. And he goes out and does comedy for veterans, puts on fundraisers and shows. Am I correct in that?
Correct.
Is there anything else about Project 9 Line or?
Well, I know it's called the Veterans Comedy Assault.
Yes.
Right.
And the website, I think, is veterans9line.org.
Project9line.org.
Project9line.org?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
Thank you. So talk to me about who you were growing up and getting into comedy. Like, how did growing up lead you into comedy?
Well, I never was really a comic person. I mean, I like humor and stuff like that. I believe watching television shows as far as famous celebrities that were like mentors, like the late Robin Williams, Whoopi Goldberg, and a few others I can't think off the top of my head.
Those are two heavy hitters. That's good.
Yeah, and you know, I think bringing the laughter into, like, either if you're doing like theater or writing, it brings out joy.
Yes.
And even poetry. Yes. But as a child, I wasn't really into that much of a comedy and stuff. I was more like school was kind of hard for me growing up because I have a learning disability, so I had to work a lot harder to try to compensate for it and learn strategies. And I learned through, I was blessed to meet various veterans throughout my lifetime. And you know, I was in ROTC, Air Force ROTC in high school, in Brown High School, and for the 4 years. And then I didn't want to go to the military right away. I decided to take some college classes and later joined the military. I had joined the Army Reserves for a few years first, in past 67 years. And then after my company commander gave me a conditional release to go active duty, I was stationed in Georgia, Hunter Army Airfield, 3rd Infantry Division. And I guess even while I was in active duty and reserve, I had met some people that had used comedy as far as the drill sergeants. I'm early in my career in the military, because sometimes those drill sergeants are very comedian, like with some of the jokes and what they say.
Yes.
Right.
So at what point in your life did people tell you you're so funny?
Well,
you should try it.
I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't really think I was a comedy person. Yeah. I had got transitioned out of the military, and I was, someone had told me about Project 9 Line, that they do like transitional stuff for veterans, as far as creative poetry, writing, music, and art. And I was doing that through Project 9 Line and at my local VA in Northport. And then after a veteran had told me that they Project 9 Line offers veteran comedy assault, and I said, I don't think I'm much of a comedy, but I said I'll try to give it a try. And I met some amazing people like Manny and the group through Project 9 Line.
Yes. Yeah. So have you been putting together comedy material?
A little bit here and there. I was trying to use more comedy with it because I have like I mentioned, I have a learning disability, auditory processing and language. I was trying to use like verbal prompts to incorporate into my comedy.
Yes.
You know. Right. So I
So have
think
you
that
done
would be
some
helpful.
stand
Might
up?
be a little bit different. Stand up through the guys through Project Nine Line directly
Nice.
at the the building over there in Islip.
So they've
But
been
I haven't
able,
done anything live. I haven't done anything actually live yet. In
great.
the yeah. But I hope to do it. After once this pandemic's over.
Yes.
I do some fundraisings and stuff like that.
So we both are in, Manny just invited me recently because I live in Vegas, but he was so kind to invite me to your weekly writing workshop.
Okay.
So that's only been 2 weeks now that I've been allowed to come to your workshop for you veterans in New York.
Correct.
And so has that workshop helped you to develop material?
Yes, some material. I had been writing off and on of certain stuff that's coming to my mind. I mean, I know with this pandemic it's very serious because a lot of us didn't know that the virus would be so serious where it'll be killing a lot of people, you know.
Yes,
I know we're planning hopefully to do like fundraisers and stuff after once it's over, you know.
absolutely. So, do you have like a few jokes or 3 minutes of material or 5 minutes, or like where are you at with the material, or do you not gauge it like that?
I had written it out. I actually worked with one another veteran. His name is Artie. He had helped me.
Art
Um,
Shill?
no, Artie. Artie Silva. Not well. Art Shield had helped me out, coach me here and there, but Artie Silva as well both. And I had formulated certain stuff on by writing stuff out, and I know when we meet through Zoom, we talk about various things, some comedy, and certain things that's going on, at current events, just to talk to vent and stuff because dealing with the pandemic is quite stressful,
So,
and it's good to see everybody, you know, through the Zoom. I'm glad that technology has come a long ways, but it's not the same as being in seeing person live, you know?
yes, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I want if I'm talking to you and I want to give you a hug, I want my computer to take out some mechanical arms and hug me. I miss this is
Yeah.
ridiculous, you know?
But
But we're learning, I think through the pandemic, we're learning a whole lot about human nature.
yes.
Like,
And I know like even various other courses like classes and stuff. I belong to programs with writing programs and stuff, and there everything through Zoom or through
yeah,
another another service called maybe Blue Jeans or Microsoft Teammates or FaceTime. Those are
yeah.
I'm sure there's other programs out there, but those are the only ones that I know right now. You know.
Every day, these millennials are coming up with something else to drive us I'm a baby boomer. I get on Zoom and they go, oh, you should try Google Hangouts. You'd find out Google Hangouts isn't quite the
Yeah,
same.
I
Oh, we got
tried that.
StreamYard. It's
Okay.
like something different every day.
Yeah.
They're always, the young people are
Yes.
coming up with so much technology right now. Did you freeze up on
Yes,
me?
they are.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I picked up on you.
On this end, it froze for a second, but you probably didn't
A little
see
bit,
it on your,
maybe. Okay.
just for a second. It happens.
No, it does.
So, what is your goal in performance? Because you can do poetry and improv, did you say?
I do poetry. I do poetry. I do some writing as far as writing about my military experiences, and I was doing that for a while, but I want to branch off with other topics as far as non-military because I don't want to limit myself just to um military writings. you know.
Yeah. What are some other topics you've been trying to think about writing?
Other topics as far as thinking about writing, I
Yeah.
was thinking about I know I was trying to, this is the latest submission that I'm doing online, and it's called On the Roads. And I was talking about my experience when I went to Israel with Heroes to Heroes. I
Yes.
went there last year. It was an amazing organization. They help veterans who have dealt with PTSD, um, people who have probably attempted suicide, moral injury. And in order to go to the trip to Israel, you have to be a combat veteran. But I met veterans. It was like 10 of us, that female veterans across the United States, and then I was honored to see three veterans, Israeli veterans, and we had spent 10 days in Israel. You know, the founder of the organization is wonderful. She cares a
Who's the
lot
founder
about.
of that organization, Donna?
Her name is Judy. Um, Judy. I Isaacson Schaefer. I know she got married. You know
It's called Heroes,
recently.
Heroes,
Heroes to Heroes.
Heroes to
Yeah, and
Heroes.
that was a major life changing event because when I went to Israel, to walk the Holy Land where Jesus walked his disciples, and Jesus already alone is a hero, and and I was among heroes as far as veterans who have served in combat
That's
in the stateside as well as Israeli veterans. Hmm.
wow. That's
Yeah, and
amazing.
I even I got baptized in the Sea of Galilee.
What?
Yes, so that was one of my major takeaways from the trip. I mean, it was we went so many places, but I like that actually got baptized where Jesus got baptized.
That's so cool.
Like,
So,
yeah.
did you have any good conversations with Israeli military veterans?
Yes, I did.
I want to
Excellent.
hear about some of that.
Well, I know a lot of the Israeli veterans. They like the Americans, and we're allies. Friends in
Yeah.
the United States and Israel. And I had learned something as far as the training. One of the female veterans, she said that she had learned most of the training in Israel that's similar to the Navy, I think, as far as part of the armed forces,
Mhm.
because she lived in the United States for some time, and then she went back to Israel, and she said that she had gotten the training in advance prior to doing the military training in the United States. So it was easy for her to transition. You know,
That's
which was a
good.
good thing. I know. Also, when I went to Israel, they have a program called Special in the Uniform. People who have intellectual disabilities, they also serve in the armed forces, but they serve in their capacity of what they're capable of doing. So I think that's very good for them because it gives them a purpose. That
That's
they could
amazing.
serve their country. You know,
Now,
I
you
think that's
said you
great.
have did you say earlier that you have an intellectual disability?
Well, no, I have a learning disability. I have it in auditory and language processing disorder and ADHD.
And
So
so,
it was quite challenging. I mean, the military accepted me with my disability, but it was quite challenging, especially being in combat.
yeah,
You know, I had gotten what do you call it? The Anybody who has any medical issues, they have to be cleared by any medical doctor. So I had gotten clearance to go for my deployment, but you don't know until when you're there. I think being among some of the veterans as well as having faith in the Lord, I had survived there because it was quite stressful. I
yes.
know I had quite a experience in the military, and it took some a while for me to heal. And when I came out, one of the professionals at Northport had told me like writing down your thoughts, that's therapeutic. And after doing that, I had found writing an expression expressing myself in paper has been quite therapeutic for me. Um, I had gotten published in a few anthologies from the veteran writing workshops from Fordham University, New York University, and Columbia University. And I wanted to branch off in that, and I had gotten published in a few outside anthologies. For instance, like one of them is called Radvocate. But the last year I had got published in one of the big publications through the New York Times. I
What?
spoke about my overcoming my learning. I thought my learning disability would nearly break me, but I persevered. You know, that was one of my big accomplishments. You
So
know,
you're at
that
one point in your life, it was really hard for you to continue, but you persevered and made it through. Is that what the article
yeah,
was?
because I had to go. It was in the New York Times. Yeah, it was published in the New York Times, and I had gotten people had contacted me, out throughout the world and stuff. They said they liked the story and stuff, which I was pleased to share. At first, it was kind of painful because the experience I went through, but I think by writing about it, I think it gave me some healing.
That's
You know,
amazing. I
yeah.
would love to have you send me a copy so I could share it with my people.
Right, correct. Yeah,
If
and
there's any, would you
yes, yes,
mind? Yeah.
yeah, sure, sure. I mean, other publications, I had been honored. I know I belong to the in Long Island. I belong to the Bards Initiative in Long Island. That's a
The what?
Bards Initiative in Long Island. It's a local poetry group out here in Long Island, and
Nice.
yeah, and the other publications I had got accepted too. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head. I know there was one also called the um. We talked about one with suicide. That was one of the other publications. It was through the Poet magazine, through Contribute. There was another publication I just spoke about, Lockdown, was the pandemic that I submitted, and it was accepted. And various publications. You know,
That's amazing. So you're a published writer.
well, I like learning. I think having mentors through the university has helped me a lot with instructors. From Fordham, NYU, and Columbia. As far as crafting of my writing, and I had been an alumni from Voices from a War. That was my first what do you call it? As far as getting experience on the outside, as far as meeting an outside organization dealing with writing. Voices from a
Voices,
War. Like I'm an alumni from there, but I
voices.
had branched off. Voices from a War is another organization that deals with
I
the
didn't.
craft of writing.
I can't hear the
I
word.
said Voices from War is another organization based in New York City. They deal with writing and stories and that. So I had started off with that, and then I had joined like the other veteran organizations through the universities. A lot of the what I noticed, a lot of the veteran organizations in writing are based in New York City. So I had told the facilitators from the various writing workshops that it's kind of hard for me to commit to going there all the time because they're in New York City, but I live in Long Island. So the commute is a killer. So I sometimes rotate it if I can. I commute. I mean, I communicate mostly through emails. You know, but in general, a lot of the veteran organizations what I belong to, they belong in they're more centralized in New York City than on Long Island. And in the state of New York, we have like the highest veterans, but most of the organizations are based in New York City. It's like the
Got it.
opposite. Yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
have Project Nine. We have the Team Red, White, and Blue. I also belong to the I just joined the organization, which is one of the oldest veterans organizations called Veterans of Foreign Wars. and they do a lot. They've been around for 100 and over 100 years.
Yeah.
So you have an organization that's been over 100 years. They speak for it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
You know,
That's right.
and post commander, he's very active. He cares so much about the veterans. You know,
Yeah. Have you done poetry about your military experience?
I had done a few poetries of my veterans experience. A few of them.
I did a like a poetry slam, like spoken word one night of my life and all the traumas I've been through. I went through
Yeah.
all the traumas in my life for a very urban crowd. I was like the only white person that was performing and the only white person in the room.
Really?
And I had everybody crying at the end of it.
Wow. Yeah. I
Guess it,
believe that veterans, you know, you pay a price to serve your country when you sign below the dotted line.
yeah,
I mean, I know the armed forces is predominantly run by males, but there's females there, but we're like the minority,
that's right.
as far as getting our voices heard, you know. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
What's in the future for Donna when the pandemic is over and it's safe again to go? What does your future hold?
Um, I hope to, you know, I hope that I'm going to take it one step at a time. I know they would say it's good to think optimistic, but I look at taking life one day at a time because tomorrow's not never promised. But I hope at some type of future that I take my boards and pass my boards because I went to school for school of social work. I had graduated, but I failed it a few times. The boards is a very hard boards to to get your license to practice. So
Yes.
at some point in the future, I hope to take it again. I know it's discouraging when you fail it and then you gotta take it again. It's not like you could take a certain section of it. You got to take the whole entire thing. So I'm hoping that that doesn't keep discouraging me.
Yes. It's easy to get discouraged, isn't it?
It is. It is. It is. You
Sometimes,
know.
we were talking, I had a discouraging event a few hours ago, and I was telling you how, it was discouraging. Sometimes the littlest thing, you drop your cell phone, it can trigger you and make you just discouraged,
Correct.
and then there's big things that make you discouraged. There's, something little tiny and something really, you lose a loved one and you drop your
Correct.
cell phone, and they can both make you feel the same discouragement.
Right. Correct.
Yeah. So
So
discouragement,
I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, I hope that I'm blessed that God will find a path for me and help me to help people out and meet amazing people. You know.
so if you go into, when you get your, when you pass your boards and become a social worker legally, do you have a certain type of clientele that you're going after, or do you have you picked
Well,
out
I
where?
would like to help. I like to help veterans. I'm open to anything, but there's a great need of helping veterans and people in general. I know there's a high rate of veterans who commit suicide or attempt that. I mean, it's not only just veterans. I know this in general, and
Yes.
people who have mental illness because they fall between the cracks in general. That population, um, you know. But I'm open also helping people who elderly as well. I think I'm open with everything. I'm keeping myself open. You know.
Yes. Every time somebody says elderly or old, I always think those poor old people. And then I'm like, oh, that's me. I'm all,
Yeah,
I'm in denial that I'm a senior citizen, I guess.
yeah, and people who have substance abuse. I know it's not easy, but I think I don't know how it is. I've never been in the shoes, but I know like each person deals with their coping as far as the 12-step program differently. Sometimes the programs for AA and NA works, but then some people the rehab doesn't work. So I
Yeah.
don't know about that.
You
You know.
know, as a as a veteran, I have depression from what I went through. I have PTSD from what I went through,
Yes,
right?
correct.
And then I got hit by a drunk driver, so I have a brain injury. So some things like I can get triggered as badly by dropping my cell phone as I can by losing a family member,
Oh, I'm sorry.
you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
so I work really hard. I found, I don't know if you've ever heard of DBT skills, dialectical behavioral
So,
therapy.
yes,
That
I heard
has
about that.
saved my life.
That's good.
You know, it's everybody has something that helps them. It's just something that worked for me.
Yeah, that's very good. You know,
Yeah.
'Cause I have quite a few, even veteran friends who had substance abuse, and some of them, had overcame it. They're clean and everything, and they keep positive outlook in life. They keep themselves active by doing events, adaptive sports. You know,
Yes.
so it depends on what works for the individual.
That's right.
Yeah,
Well, you'll make a wonderful social worker.
thank you.
And you're such an encouragement, and I'll tell you why, because you said you have intellectual
Well,
processing of
well,
information.
it's auditory and language processing disorder. You know,
Okay. And you're not letting that stop you from going after the goal of being able to help people. Like you have the goal in mind to help people, and whatever it takes, you're going to push through it to make it happen.
yeah, even people who have learning disabilities or intellectual disabilities, I would help that population as well as people who have mental illness. You know,
Wonderful.
open to
Well,
all of that.
you know, I've talked to a lot of veterans. I've talked to a lot of female veterans in my life, and I'm really proud to know you. I'm glad I got to know you.
Thank you. I
Because
know, like one. I'm sorry.
when we were on that class on Zoom 2 weeks ago, you know how there was a bunch of guys and then there was us two women.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you and I, of course, with all the guys there, you and I couldn't bond and get to know each other, but now I know you.
Yes. Thank you. I know, like with the pandemic, I do volunteer work. I belong to this organization I joined in December, called Team Red, White, and Team Rubicon, and they deal with natural disasters and emergency responses. I had saw a link on Facebook about they were coming to Long Island, to Calverton, and I was trying to log on to Facebook to register. So I said to myself, well, it was back in December. I said, well, I'm gonna go to Calverton and see if I could find them. And this is back in December, so I went, and Calverton National Cemetery is like 1,100 acres. So I went there. Actually, it took me a while, but I found them. I located them, and I helped, digging the reefs, taking out different sections, and when I had took some training classes, ICS training, that you have to, in order to deploy anywhere, you have to take. It's mandatory that you take the classes there, and then you have to take 2 online classes through FEMA. And I passed the class. I'm glad I took it in February of this year at New York University, because New York University had hosted Team Rubicon to take to teach a class there. And I'm glad I did that, because now that this pandemic has been out since November, but it really hit the fan, I would say, like with people dying and it full blown in March of this year. So I've been giving back to working at food banks, volunteering, for because there's a lot of people out there who don't know, what the future has in store for them as far as employment.
That's right.
So I wanted to give back in the community somehow, some way. So Team Rubicon is a very wonderful organization. The state, the team I work with is very, very nice. I met some amazing people there.
That's so
We
amazing.
work in the Island Harvest in Bethpage. in a warehouse, you know.
Wow.
So
You are some kind of unstoppable woman.
yeah,
That's amazing. Way to go.
yeah. Thank you.
You don't give yourself time to sit around and feel sorry for yourself, do you?
Well, I mean, at times, like anybody, you would have times of being sad or depressed, but sometimes you have to move forward. I think I've been blessed meeting people throughout my life. Employment where I work, various organizations that have been nice to me. I currently work for the New York State Office of Mental Health. So,
What?
my job, I'm an essential worker, so I have to be at work. I'm glad that I'm working, you know.
Yes,
So because there's a lot of, if the tables are turned, I don't, it's hard, if you're not employed and you have a family, you know, I can
absolutely.
only imagine, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And you were really gracious because I was late getting to you.
Yeah, all
Had a
right,
little
that's okay.
communication trouble today and with the internet, etc. So thank you for being a patient person with me and understanding.
You're welcome.
And
You're
I
welcome.
so enjoyed getting to know you. And I want to personally let you know that as one person to another, I want to continue to get to know you one on one. I don't want, this isn't for show. Sure,
Yeah.
people are watching, but me as a human, I love you. I adore you. I think you're fabulous. And I want you to be a friend of mine.
Okay, sure.
Okay. You got room for one more friend? I mean, a real friend, not
Yes,
one of these fake friends.
yes,
I want to be your friend.
yes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for taking the time to interview me.
Donna's, and did you pronounce it Zephine?
Zephrin, Zephrne.
Oh, there's an R in there. I didn't see
Yeah.
that. That changes everything.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Donna Zephine.
You're
Did I get
welcome.
it right this time?
Yes, close enough. Yeah.
You know, what's the right way?
Is Zephrin.
Zephrin. Now
Yeah.
did I get it?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Donna Zephine.
You're welcome. Have a good
Bye.
night.
You too.
Nice
Love
meeting
you.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.